Hi guys, Jess FPL here, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'll be talking you guys through the best mid-price defenders from the price range around 5.0 and 5.5 mil. There's a lot of drafting going on during this preseason, and a lot of people is trying to squeeze in, Gabriel Jesus, 2.8 mil midfielders like a Foden, like a Diaz, and of course the two premiums, and also wanting some premium defenders. And I think we will have to look at mid-price defenders, and I think there are a lot of mid-price defenders that offer great value. So I'm going to be showing you guys some mid-price defenders I picked, 7 to 8 mid-price defenders that I think is the best around that price range, and I'm going to be talking you guys through this, and at the end I'll be telling you guys which one I think is the best mid-price defender. Starting off with Kieran Trippier. Now Trippier, I think Newcastle, they've had new owners, Saudi owners have a lot of money, and they have made a lot of signings. They have made improvement around the squad this summer, and I think Kieran Trippier last season, he played a couple of games, and I think he did score both of his goals. He scored were set pieces, and I think that he will be on set pieces. That will be a huge factor coming into picking these defenders. And I think with set pieces, with Newcastle improving their squad, last season their defense did improve under Eddie Howe, and with an entire preseason for Eddie Howe to look and assess players and to make more signings that he thinks is the best for the team, I think their defense will improve. But as we look at their fixtures, Nottingham Forest, and then Brighton and Wolves, and they do have City and Liverpool in their first 5, so it's not the greatest fixtures, but they do have 2 brilliant fixtures to start off the season. And if you look at their stats, look at Trippier's stats. Remember these stats, he did play only 4 to 5 games, I believe, and it was a very little games he played, only managed to score 2 goals, and it was quite impressive, to be fair. And Newcastle, the defense has improved last season, as we know. He's actually an XA isn't that great, but we know that his standard is very high. If you watch his games, we know that his set pieces are just brilliant, and I think at 5 mil is one to consider, especially when we have a lot of expensive midfielders and attackers. I think Trippier at 5 mil offers great value, especially with his set pieces. Next we have Kieran Tierney, and Kieran Tierney, now Arsenal's fixtures, I just think that we don't have to talk about their fixtures. It just looks phenomenal. It's a great start to the season, and I think all of those teams not really that good attacking, not really, doesn't have much threat going forward the pitch. Like Aston Villa, I put it as orange because their attack is quite decent, but with Leicester, Crystal Palace defensively has been better, their attack hasn't been that great, and then you have Bournemouth and Fulham, the newly promoted sides. We don't know what to expect from them, so I just put them as green fixtures. And as we can see, Arsenal picked up 13 clean sheets last season. They did drop off towards the end. I think since game week 30 to 38, they did start to slowly didn't get any clean sheets. They did start to concede more. But Kieran Tierney, he was injured. If you can remember, he was injured. He played a while, and I think he picked up an injury which caused him to be out for the rest of the season. And I think when he was fit, I did own him, and he was great value for, I think he was 4.8. So he could offer great value. And if you are looking at the fullbacks for Arsenal, you have Cedric, Tierney, Tomiyasu, these players, and between him and Tomiyasu is a 0.5 gap difference. But Tierney, he just offers more attacking threat, and I think for the 0.5 you will pay more. You get extra goals, extra assists. As you can see in his stats here, expected goals, he did score 1 and 3 assists. So points per game looks quite good. The fixtures just looks brilliant. So if you're looking for one, I think if you're considering him and Tomiyasu, remember you're paying 0.5 more for a fullback which is more attacking and has better stats. So I think for 5 mil, he also offers great value. Next we have Matt Doherty. Now you might be confused why I put him in this category of the best mid-price defenders, but currently Tottenham haven't signed a right wing back, and if you can remember, when before his injury, Doherty was the starting right wing back. I think he was favoured over Emerson. He has the better stats, he is more attacking, and if you look at his stats here, 6 goal contributions, 2 goals and 4 assists. During that, I think he played quite a few games, and during that period he did pick up a lot of double digit hauls. So we know what he's capable of, and if Spurs do trust Doherty and don't go on and sign a right wing back, Doherty could be a great value for 5 mil. I think he's proven it in the Prem, he's used to it, and I think paying 5 mil cheaper than Perisic, as Perisic is older and he hasn't played in the Prem before, so we don't know what to expect. And I think for 0.5 cheaper, Doherty could be excellent value. And looking at those fixtures, they do play Chelsea in game week 2, but after that, it looks quite good. Wolves, Nottingham Forest, and West Ham. So Southampton at home, the first opening fixture, looks great as well. So if Spurs don't go on and sign a right wing back later on during the transfer window, and if Doherty is still the main man as right wing back, I think we could see him offering great value. As we can see the stats there as well. Doherty, Spurs did manage to keep 16 clean sheets, so their defense has been really good. And as for now, they have just signed Langley on a 3-year, I think 2-year loan, and that just makes Spurs defense more solid. They are making more improvements, and I think Doherty for 5 mil offers great value. Next, we have Manny Cash, and Cash 5 mil. Again, last season he was phenomenal. Everyone expected him to be priced at 5.5 mil, but he did come in cheaper than 5.5, 0.5 cheaper. Bournemouth, Everton, Crystal Palace, and West Ham to start off the season. Quite good fixtures, and then they do have Arsenal there. So great first 4 fixtures. Aston Villa, they kept 11 clean sheets, and I think with the signings of Carlos, Kamara, I think they have made improvements to the defense, and I think those improvements will play a big role in Aston Villa's defense, and I think they will improve defensively. His stats here, as you can see, expected goals and expected assists, looks really good. 4 goals and 3 assists. I think it did come later on the season when we all looked at him, and I think with his partner Luca Dean plays on the left side, and I think Dean has set pieces, so that's one to consider. But we know Cash, he has settled down in the Aston Villa's system under Steven Gerrard, and we know that Cash will play well under Steven Gerrard, and I think Gerrard has a lot of trust in Cash. So I think Cash for 5 mil, also one to consider as one of the better value defenders. Next, we have Ivan Perisic. Now, the new signing Perisic, I think some people, they could consider like he's not Prem proven. We have to wait and see. But if you look at his ownership now in game, I think it's about 50%, and there's a high ownership. So if you don't go for him, it's a big risk, and I think you're taking the risk of losing rank early on in the season. So for me, I have him in my team, and for 5.5, I think it's an absolute bargain if he lives up to the standards. And as you can see the stats here, expected goals 4, and expected assists is quite high. So he did overperform his expected goals, but his assist, he did underperform. So we know he is capable of scoring high points in Serie A. He did play really well under the Conte system, but I did saw stats later yesterday saying that Perisic, with the 5-sub rule, of course the 5-sub rule was used in the Serie A season when Conte took charge, he did come off around the 60-minute mark a lot of times for Conte. So that could be one point to consider, that Conte likes to sub their players, especially when Spurs have Champions League football. Spurs do have a lot of depth in the left wing back position. Currently they have Reguilon and Sessegnon. So Sessegnon did he did impress Conte during the end of the season. So that was one to consider. Maybe more rotation, maybe more subs. But in the favour of Perisic, if he's being subbed off early, he could secure the clean sheet points quite early as well. So there's one that's in the favour of Perisic. But there is ups and downs with Perisic. But for now, I think for 5.5, he just offers great value, especially in your team structure if you are going for more expensive midfielders and forwards. Next, we have Kyle Walker. Now, Kyle Walker at 5 mil. At currently recording this video, City haven't signed Cucurella, and I think Cucurella coming in will play a key factor in City's first 11. I think we have the Community Shield before the season, so that's one to keep an eye on. I think we will see Pep's preferred lineup in the Community Shield, because of course after the Community Shield there is a couple of weeks before the season kicks off. So we will see that Community Shield, and their fixtures, I think it's nothing, we don't have to talk about it. Their fixtures just look great. I think you could own a City asset for the whole season, but of course we're talking at the start of the season. And for 5 mil, I think his stats doesn't look that great. But for Kyle Walker, you are picking up a player from the best defense in the league that gets you are picking Kyle Walker for the clean sheet points. Technically, you're not picking for his attacking his attacking numbers. You're picking him for the 6 pointers. Just get the clean sheet and you'll be happy. And I think for 5 mil, if City don't go on and sign Cucurella, I think it's one to consider. 2 mil cheaper than Cancelo, 1 mil cheaper than the Diaz and Laporte. I think in his position he has less competition. Okay, João Cancelo can play as right back, but I think Cancelo prefers to play at left back. And I think with Walker for 5 mil, it could be an absolute steal if City don't go on and sign another fullback. I think for Kyle Walker, 5 mil, a City defender who's pretty much secured at the start of the season. Of course, later on we do have Champions League football, but at the start of the season, who's a team who's getting 20 plus clean sheets a season, I think he could be an absolute steal. Next we have Canos. Now this is a very surprising one because he did come in as a defender, and for 5 mil, I did some research, and he is playing as like a right wing, a right mid position in the Brentford system. They do play a 5 at the back. However you want to call it, a 3 defenders, 3 centre backs, 5 midfielders, and I think 2 up front. So he's playing that right-sided midfielder, and I think Canos, he could be going under the radar here because their first 2 fixtures don't look great, but after that it looks phenomenal, their fixtures. And I think Brentford, we could see some people are saying during the second season they get regulated, but no, I think for this amount his stats look decent as well. I think for now it's a wait and see for Canos. And so I did look at it all, and I think overall for this list, I think the best mid-price defender in my opinion first is Perisic, Tierney, Doherty. I think Doherty, he will sit at that 3rd position for now if Spurs don't sign a right wing back. Trippier there and a cash Walker. Now Walker, I put him quite low because if you're looking at attacking numbers, it's not the greatest. So I did put him at 6, and I did miss out on Cucurella, but if he does go to City, his attacking numbers do look good at 5 mil as well. So this is my thing. Let me know what you guys think. And I think if you're picking up a mid-price defender, this is the order you have to go with. So for now, this is the order, and it's been me, Jess FPL. I'll see you guys in the next one.